Welcome back, friends, to another Nova Flow. And if it's your first time here, I'm so happy that you are joining. Today is all about yoga for runners, which is funny because I could really label that weightlifters, athletes, this new term going around, hybrid athletes, which is runners and weightlifters, or kind of whatever else you want to mix into that, triathletes, swimmers, bikers. The point is, yoga is so good for all people who care about their body and do things with their body in a specific direction or goal. Right? Yoga is such a good way to balance these different things that we do. And oftentimes, when we pair different movement patterns together, it really helps us encompass the duality of life and find a more sense of balance, direction, and fulfillment with our entire being, not just physically, but emotionally and in deeper layers of the mental universe. Having said that, we'll start in a seat, just crossing the legs in front of the body. As runners, a lot of times we get tight in the legs and the hips as they're moving a lot for us. Now, if this is really tight or you're struggling to kind of sit up straight and having a rounding in the lower back, then I encourage you to sit onto a pillow or a block or something that will help lift the hips up a little bit higher, which in return will help ground the knees down a little closer to the earth so that we can find that posture elevated through the base of the body, really just setting up the groove within our own legs, which do so much for us. Finding gratitude for having these legs that keep us moving, this base. We're just going to start with a few rounds of box breathing as you find your base here. No matter what you do, whether you're a runner or another athlete, it always starts with the breath. So just a few moments to center into that. This box breath is a slow inhale, and then we hold the breath at the top. Nice, easy exhale. And then hold that breath out at the bottom. So it's like a box. As we inhale, we come up. We hold. Exhale, we come down. And we hold. A few more rounds here. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Longer hold. Exhale, nice easy release. Hold that breath out as long as you can. Last round here, big breath in. Hold that top. Notice the shoulders relax. Take another inhale and let it go. Last hold here, nice and long at the bottom. Just keep exhaling slowly. See if you can notice the heartbeat. When you're ready, big breath in. Let it go. Coming out of that box and into that flow. That natural rhythm of up and down, of expansion and compression. All right, how can we control the breath through exertion and fatigue if we don't have an awareness of the breath when still, when present fully, with no external stimulation to the body, other than what is in front of you now? Take another breath here. We'll start to make our way slowly into a tabletop position, right? Take a few moments to roll out the shoulders. Continue to notice your space and see if you can lean into those thighs. Notice if the stretch has intensified or if it's settled. And then maybe the flexibility is there enough to reach the hands forward, far enough to lift the hips and pivot the feet behind. And then just adjust the knees, tuck the toes, and take a few moments to shift your weight around. Now, one of the most classic poses in all of yoga is a downward facing dog. Traditionally, a down dog is a resting pose as well. And ironically, it's just so good for both runners, weightlifters, any type of athlete to incorporate this stretch into their weekly routine or daily routine. So grounding the hands down, tucking the toes, we'll work on piking up the knees and then just shifting our weight into the feet, pressing the chest towards the ankles, towards the thighs, towards the feet, which is locking out the shoulders, hands are overhead. You can start to tuck the chin and look at your feet. Let your knees kind of bend and soften, but keep the tailbone the highest point on the mat. Now from here, you can move the feet around. You can pedal out the ankles, trying to flatten one foot at a time, grounding down the heel, playing with the spacing, and prioritizing the awareness in the shoulders of keeping the chest pressed back, hips up high, and the chin tucked down, which pulls the hands a little more overhead. The hands are grounded, right? Really gripping through the fingertips as we continue to pedal out the legs. Just start to wag the tail from side to side. You'll start to notice more length in one side of the body at a time. And noticing how good this is for those calves, those ankles, those toes, the hamstrings, and also getting a little bit of stimulation in the quads. Right, from here, see if you can turn the heels all the way to one side, keeping a bend in the knees, keeping the hips high and head low. That opposite hand starts to get light. Whichever way the toes are pointed, that side hand can start to lift as you squat a little bit deeper. Coming back through center, pike up the hips high onto the tippy toes, shake the head yes, and start to turn those toes to the other direction, kind of stacking the feet gently in line with each other as we bend the knees, keeping the hips high and shoulders locked out. That opposite hand might lighten enough to lift. Then we can come back through just one more, a little quicker on each side, playing with the contortion of the feet, the bend in the knees, and the pressure in the shoulders or shoulder as we shift the weight all the way back to the other side. Big breath. We'll take one more breath in the middle, honoring that this is traditionally a resting pose, finding that base. Just shake the head yes again to make sure it's loose. Noticing any fatigue in the shoulders. This is normal, especially if you're new to this pose. Just one more big breath. And then we'll start to drop those knees back down to the center of the mat or underneath the belly. From here, we shift back and forth to lift the hands up. Start to roll out the wrists and just kind of walk out the knees, adjusting your space. Untucking the toes now. And we're just going to rotate to one side, this open arm twist, and just kind of go back and forth a few times. Noticing any space that opens up through the middle back, shoulder blades, the spine. Let the elbows kind of bend if they wish, maybe back bend, maybe express and stretch in any way that feels good to open up. All right, we're going to turn to one side. Tuck those toes on that side only, and then see if you can press your weight into those toes, grabbing your heel with the thumb on the outside of the foot. Opposite arm starts to reach overhead. We're keeping those hips kind of locked out for one more breath to lean into this. And then we slowly come through center, staying facing that side you chose. That front hand starts to come down, and the top hand that was on the heel starts to thread underneath the body, threading the needle nice and easy, melting that shoulder down to the ground. Take one big breath to feel that rotation. And then inhale, unravel, reaching that hand high to the sky. As we exhale, start to tuck both toes, shifting back into the hips, and then lift back up to a tall kneeling position. Open arm expression, shake out the knees, open up the chest. And then find that open arm twist to either side again. little jellyfish swing. Right, we come over to the opposite side this time, tucking those toes, and then starting to recline back, leaning into the quads, engaging the glutes forward so that we can find that support. Just noticing if we can tap the heel or maybe add some weight onto it. This exalted camel pose, that opposite hand sweeps forward and up, maybe into a back bend a little bit deeper. Inhale. Exhale, start to come back through, grounding that top hand down to the mat, still facing the same side. As we shift the hips forward, inhale, open up the chest. And then exhale, thread the needle under and through. Take a full breath just to soften the shoulders, relax onto the ground. And then we unravel into that open needle, big inhale. Very beautiful. As we exhale, start to shift back into that tall kneeling position. You can take one more little twist with the arms. And then we're gonna step our right foot forward into a lunge. Now from here, this is called our runner's lunge when we put our hands down on the ground. So for those runners out there, just like a sprinter about to take off, we're gonna lift up the back knee and just take a few shifts back and forth. If you straighten the front leg all the way, it'll be our pyramid pose, which can be a very deep pose. So don't force any of that. Just taking these little shifts, you can always drop your knee down. You can always find blocks under the hands, or I like to use my fingertips from time to time just to create that extra space. As we shift back and forth, if you're working on that full pyramid and you feel kind of close, step your back foot forward a little bit, more towards the center, closing in the space between the feet. Then you can find a little extra shift now, really getting into that hamstring. Take a big breath here. And then just step to the top of the mat as the hands lift, reaching those arms high to the sky. Exhale, start to fold down. We're gonna wrap ourselves around the legs. See if you can give yourself a big hug. Starting to reach for opposite elbows. See if you can bend the knees and compress the hips towards the heels. Feet stay flat, and we're squeezing the forearms in the backs of the thighs. Maybe you can hang out there for a breath or just notice. And then we unravel the hands to the top of the mat, and now the right foot steps back. Take a moment to drop the knee, lift the hands, notice the space shifting in and out. And then we'll ground into that runner's lunge to lift and kind of shift into that pyramid, opening up the calves, the hamstrings. Maybe play with the knee down a few times into that half split. And then we'll come up a little higher and just tiptoe that back foot in a little bit tighter so we can straighten the legs a little bit more. A big breath into the belly, creating extra space with every exhale. Nice and easy, we'll step to the top of the mat and roll up to reach up high. Big inhale. As we exhale, folding back down, hugging the legs, tucking in tight, so even if we can squat into it. Nice and easy, unravel. We'll step both feet back, finding a plank. Just a few moments to breathe here, engage the glutes, tucking the tailbone under, and take a few shifts again into those ankles and wrists, back and forth. A little saw rock, shifting front to back into the ankles and wrists. Last breath here. We're gonna see if we can pike back up to that downward facing dog, and then drop your elbows down to the mat. Now just notice that space. This is our dolphin pose, increasing a little bit of mobility in those shoulders. So just take one more breath to relax the head. Keep those hips piked up high and knees soft. We'll start to lower the knees down, coming up to tabletop inhale, back up to the hands. Opening up that chest a little bit more. Start to wag the tail from side to side, creating space in the sides of the body. And then one arm at a time, you're gonna reach the hand forward and then just melt the armpit down to the ground. The opposite elbow flares out, and this is our half puppy pose, to open up those down dogs in those overhead holds. Inhale to come back through center, tabletop. Exhale, opposite arm reaches forward. Let the arm that's supporting you flare out the elbow like a push-up, so we can melt the shoulder down to the ground, opening that chest. Maybe turning the neck, relaxing the temple down. A full breath. Opening up all that shoulder mobility. Big inhale through center. And then switching sides. Just coming into another half puppy, a little rep. Back through center, inhale. And exhale, we release. Very beautiful. From here, we'll come back into the middle. Cross the ankles, walk forward. And see if you can come back into that crisscross. But this time extending right leg out and left leg bent to the side. Now just taking a few moments to sit up nice and straight, framing out the knee with the hand, and we're just gonna pivot the toes from left to right as we set up our base here. Really getting into that under hamstring and into those hips. Take one more breath here just to notice that hip rotation, hydrating the body from the inside out, lubricating all these important muscles in the back posterior chain of the body. One more breath here to create some more space, flexing those toes back. And then find your groove to just fold, head to knee pose, Janu Shirshasana. Now as we come out of this side, we're gonna take that straight leg, right foot ankle, crosses over the left knee as you lay down onto your back. Take a moment to find that figure four and just reach your arms up overhead. And then take that foot that's crossed over and drop it down to the left if we're on the right side. You can bend the elbows like a cactus. You can rotate the left hand down to kind of weigh the knee, opening up more into the glute. And if you don't feel much of a stretch, see if you can take your bottom leg and tuck it on top of that right ankle, and it'll weigh down more weight into the lower back. From here, we just unravel, kick the right foot towards the sky, adjust the tailbone as needed with the left foot, and then wrap the hands around the thigh, take a few kicks, loosen it up, and then little ankle circles. Big breath here, reversing the direction. Crack the toes. And then as we find that figure four again, crunch your head, neck, and shoulders up and see if you can hug that left leg into the chest. So we're still bound with the right leg on top, but we're reaching the hands through for the back of the thigh or the shin to pull that shape in. Last side here, as we unravel, you can rock and roll up to a seat, finding your center to straighten the left leg and the right leg folded out to the side. Again, just notice your space, tenting the hands to frame out that leg in front of us, and then just pivoting the toes from left to right, which is rotating in the hip socket on that side. A few moments to sit up nice and tall, to notice that space, to bring our awareness back into the breath. One more big inhale to find that groove, and then exhale, just fold into it. As we start to come back up through our center, we'll make our way back to our back. So we extend that right leg forward as we cross the left leg around for figure four. Open arms here, playing around with just relaxing, opening the heart, making sure that figure four feels nice and squared up, and we can let the shape fall to the right into an easy twist. Playing with a yawn, a stretch, maybe rotating that right hand down just to add some weight into the glute, some stretch. An option to add more weight into the full twist by stacking that bottom knee on top into the crease of the top leg. Twisted roots, All right, one more breath here. And as we unravel, we kick that left foot towards the sky, hands wrapped behind. Take a few kicks as we adjust the tailbone to be flat. Holding that leg a little straighter, we can roll out the ankle, both directions. Crack the toes. Finding that figure four just one more time. And then we hug that shape in, reaching for the opposite leg. Nice squeeze, maybe an extra extension. And as we unravel, we can rock and roll one more time up to a seat, finding that crisscross position. Just like we started our little practice here. Hopefully we feel more open, and we can test that just by sitting here for a few more moments, seeing if our knees are a little more grounded. Again, coming back to a support as well. If you feel like it'll help you sit up a little bit straighter, take a few more breaths to close out our meditation together. As always, you can add on any extra movements. If you have any questions, I appreciate you leaving a comment below. I hope your body feels a little more recovered from all your activity and or a little bit more prepared for more activity to come. Thank you for joining. If you had fun here with me today, please leave a like and share with a friend who might need this routine for themselves. Namaste.